Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. It's Dr. Alessandro, and in this special edition video, I'm going to be describing what interviewees should do maybe prior to an interview. Now, this is of course kind of directed towards the dental group or population as it were, but it really does apply to just about every field imaginable. So that said, one important thing that you should do is you should get to know who your employer is prior to an interview. What do I mean by that? Well, I mean, you should at least do some research into what type of business or organization that you're interviewing for. That way you can at least have an idea of, an initial idea of, am I going to be a good fit for this place or not? Because that can be kind of a really big deal when it comes to whether or not you join or what happens after you join and you discover it may not be quite what you expected. So knowing your future employer is something that is extremely helpful. For example, say somebody wants to come to my practice and they are thinking that they want to come work for my practice, and they're thinking, oh, this could be a high-end cosmetic practice that I'm coming to and going to be working for. Well, in our particular location and with our particular patient pool, sure, I mean, they want to make sure that they're presentable, but this is not a high-end cosmetic practice. So you wouldn't quite be terribly satisfied if that's what you were expecting and that's what you were wanting when it came to working for me. In this case. So again, know what you're dealing with. Now, try to know maybe the personality of the employer, because that also helps. So if you have any friends who've worked for that person, maybe ask them, hey, what does he or she think? How do they do things? Or whatnot. For example, I personally value how a person treats other people, and how they basically are in terms of their personality and their technical abilities and their willingness to learn and be a team player. Those are all the things that matter to me. So looks don't really matter to me. That is something that has never been on my radar. I go back to a story where a longtime friend of mine named Federico Anastasi, classmate of mine in Italy when I was there for a year of high school. He actually, well, you could say that when he went for his baccalaureate exam that they do at the end of their high school year, they're 5 years of high school, not 4, they go through a big comprehensive test. And one of my friend's aunts was one of the review board members for this big test. And without knowing that I knew him, I asked, hey, did you know like this class and this high school? And she even brought up his name without knowing that I knew him and said, when you looked at him, you wouldn't have given him 2 cents. Meaning he looked maybe a little bit rough around the edges. But he was one of our top 10 scorers and just that far advanced in terms of his knowledge and abilities and he really impressed her just because he knew so much and he did so well. But his appearance didn't certainly lead them to believe he was going to have that kind of a performance on his test. So, what I'm saying is that to me personally, it doesn't matter what you look like. Now, I mean, let's face it, if you look like you just rolled out of bed and you happen to be sleeping in a tub of pig poop, yeah, okay, that might be a problem. But I'm not going to look at you and just because you got a couple hairs out of place, go, oh my goodness, we can't have this. So if you are somebody who has a big heart, treats people well, and does a good job, and is a great team player, and works real hard, we'll get along just fine. We will. So that said, like I said, important takeaways: know your employer and know what drives the business that you are applying to join or wanting to join, and that will make your life a lot better when it comes to your future employment. So thank you so much for joining me, and I hope you're all staying well and healthy.